Welcome to the Data Diva webinar series, where we're bringing clarity to your data one training at a time. I am your host, Sherry Curtical. Today's program is Holiday Cards, How to Manage the Data. In my experience, the holiday card is often the turning point when organizations realize that they are unable to send personalized cards, which speak to the different nuances of the relationship. It is at this moment when the one message for all cards get sent, whether electronic or mailed. Even if your cards are already sent, this training will get you on the right track so you'll be better prepared for next year. Whether you are currently using Zoho CRM, are considering it, or not using it at all, you will find benefits to the information we'll discuss. You'll learn data segmentation, data standardization, list creation, exporting lists, and resources for mail merge using Word and Excel. So let's get started. According to Wikipedia, the first Christmas cards were commissioned by Sir Henry Cole and illustrated by John Calcott Horsley in London on 1st of May, 1843. 2 batches totaling 2,050 cards were printed and sold that year for £1 each. Fast forward to today, and over 2 billion Christmas cards are mailed each year, with over 500 million e-cards sent and growing. When you are a small business owner and need to differentiate yourselves from others, a customized holiday card can go a long way. A customization is about more than mail merging a name into a message or onto a mailing label. It's about acknowledging the relationship you have with that person. As a client that spends time and money with you, they want to be recognized for having that relationship. As a prospect, a note to let them know you are still thinking about them can really go far. Data should be about relationships, the nurturing of a sales relationship, the history of a client relationship, the ability to refer based on your vendor relationships. When you look at what information you should collect, it should reflect the information for which you want to use in the future. So what does that look like? For holiday cards, here is some information you may want to collect. Relationship. Is the person a client, a prospect, a former client, a vendor? Perhaps they're even a consultant working for a client of yours. Understanding that relationship can really help in context when crafting your holiday message. Lead source. Understanding referral relationships can really strengthen your relationship with that person. Significant connections. Remembering this type of information makes a huge impression with people. Name. Some people go by their formal names. Some people have nicknames. I once worked with a woman whose formal name was Patricia, but to her friends and colleagues, she went by Patty. A gentleman in my referral group is formally Eugene. However, no one really knows that name at all and refers to him as Tito. Last contact date. Knowing when the last time you reached out is always valuable information. Notes. Having specific notes in text format may not help you in a mail merge or reporting, but it may help you put context to your messaging. And for your holiday card itself, a checkbox signifying whether or not you'll be sending one is a very helpful tool. So what's next? Now it's time to talk about apples and oranges. So when looking at data, we want to talk about data in forms of apples or oranges. We want to make sure that the data is standardized so that we can best report on it. So again, what does that look like? Well, field types, understanding the different types of field types. Some field types are text field types. Others are pick lists or multi-pick lists. Some are Boolean or checkbox. Having definitive field types and understanding what type of information and how you're going to extract that information will really help standardize. Quantifiable information. Pick lists and multi-pick lists are easier to report upon. Text-based fields can be reporting nightmares. So make sure that if it's quantifiable information, you're using something such as a pick list, a multi-pick list, or a checkbox field. Quality versus quantity. Now, the fields that you mark as mandatory will ensure that the data is there and that you're able to request it for reporting purposes. Even if you just want to view or search information based on a field or set of criteria, in database language, view and search is a report. If the information is missing or inconsistent, then your results will be as well. Now, common fields that really need to be standardized. So let's start with a couple of examples. States. The United States Postal Service recognizes 5 different representations for denoting the state of California. Now, that's nice for the post office, but what if you wanted to set up a report to pull everyone in your database that lives in California? If you have set field level rules that require all states be represented by 2 letters, CA, then your search will yield positive results. If not, then you may have to run several criteria on your search and then merge those results to get a clean list. If the data is such that it is predetermined, my recommendation is to use a pick list to minimize the risk of human error. What does that mean? Predetermined means we already know there are 50 states in the United States. So go ahead and set that as a pick list where you determine the criteria, perhaps 2 letters, for all 50 states. And then when they're on that field, they have to choose from that list. Phone numbers. Phone numbers, one of the most important questions that you'll need to ask yourself right up front is, are you going to be tracking international phone numbers or just domestic phone numbers? If you're going to be tracking international phone numbers, then you'll want to make sure that you include country code at the beginning of all the numbers listed in your database. And you'll probably want to put a plus sign preceding the number so that phone systems, if you ever integrate them into your CRM, will recognize that as dialing it as a country code. Now, when representing the phone number itself, whether you use dashes, dots, or parentheses, it doesn't matter, just do it consistently. If you store extensions as well, and you are not using a separate field for phone extensions, then my recommendation is to use a semicolon as your delimiter, as again, any phone system integrated into your database recognizes that semicolon as a delimiter and knows to dial that as an extension. List creation. Although I'm going to demonstrate how to pull a list from Zoho CRM, most CRMs work very similarly, so the information can still be utilized. From Zoho CRM, you'll go up to your navigation and you'll find Reports and click on Reports. From here, we're going to create a report. It will bring you up to a window where you can do this, and you're going to select your primary module or grouping of information, which case we would be selecting contacts. As a related list, we would use accounts so that we can pull in all the account information as well. Accounts meaning companies. Once you've selected your modules, it will bring you to a window where you can select a different type of report. For list creation report purposes, you always want to select a tabular report because we don't want to summarize any of the information. We want to have it listed on separate rows. The next tab over is columns. And here's where you'll select all the information for which you may be using in your mail merge, including any labels. So if list source or lead source or relationship or any of that information is valuable in your mail merge, then you'll want to make sure that you bring those fields from the available columns into the selected columns. And from there, you can sort the order to your liking. The next step is setting the criteria. Now, perhaps you want to send a specifically branded card to people residing in New Jersey. So your filter, your advanced filter may be that the mailing state is and J. Again, going back to that 2-letter state abbreviation. If you just want to pull a list of everyone, then maybe your advanced filter criteria would be holiday card is true, if you have that checkbox. So then once we hit save, we give our report a name. In this case, we're naming it New Jersey Mailing List, and we're describing it as all contacts in the state of New Jersey. From here, we're going to export our list. Now, as you can see in this database, all the mailing zip codes are not preceded by a 0. Exporting your information as an Excel will allow you to format that field as a zip code and be able to put that preceding 0 in front of the other 4 digits. So my recommendation when exporting for mail merge is to export as an Excel spreadsheet. Now, once you have your spreadsheet, it really depends on how you're going to create your labels. There are so many variables to making labels. So I've provided a few links with step-by-step instructions on how to create labels using mail merge from your Excel spreadsheet into a Word document template. I've set these references up based on your operating system, as each operating system works a little differently, and within operating systems, your version of Office will work a little differently. But these references will help you get started. So here's one for Windows. And for all my fellow Apple users, here's a reference for Apple as well. I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you do have further questions about the material covered in today's presentation, again, please reach out to us. Holistic Business Solutions plays host to many upcoming events, both live and virtual. For more information, including complete details and registration, visit us at www.holisticbusinesssolutions.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.